What's going on YouTube? R2R Moto here. And as you can see, it's a rather cloudy day outside right now. It was nice and sunny outside a little bit earlier, but unfortunately wasn't able to actually get out and make a video at that time. Since then it is almost about to rain and the sun is about to start going down too. So what was a nice day has become kind of still a nice feeling day because it's getting warmer outside, but it doesn't look that nice, and it kind of fits with how my week's been going. So I really don't have a topic for this video other than basically what my week has been, so it's really just gonna be me talking about that. Nothing really about the bike. I haven't done any new mods to it yet. I've been trying to do a mod at least every weekend. Today is Saturday, so probably when I go home I'm gonna go do some more mods to this bike. I'm probably gonna do the front turn signals and the case savers and maybe something else. I don't know yet. We'll see when we cross that bridge. But you know, have you ever had a week that just felt like a walking L? That was my week right now. What is up here? I've never seen what's here. I don't know what this is. It almost looks like a school of some kind. I have no idea. But like I was talking about before, have you ever had a week that's just been like a walking L? And that's what this week has been for me. So this week started off really rough. Sunday I had some personal things happen. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but that kind of started off my week from last Sunday. So my week really starts on Monday, and Monday is where I first knew that this week it wasn't going to be good, but I was hoping it wouldn't be as bad as it turned out to be. So my week started by basically waking up to go to work on Monday, and when I woke up to go to work on Monday I was like, okay, I'm feeling good, this is great, we're gonna have a good day. Get dressed, go to my car, get to my car, and immediately try to start my car, won't start. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's just at the current moment it's doing a thing where it's just not trying to start. Nice motorcycle right there. Don't know what it was. I think that was I'm gonna get the name wrong, but the NTX 700 or something like that from Honda. I have no idea. So when I tried to start my car, it wouldn't start, and I was like, okay, that's fucking great. So I'm trying to think what it could be, and the battery basically had died on me. And because everybody had already left the house to go to work in the morning and things like that, I didn't have a way to jump start my car, so I had to call somebody to come over to come help me start my car, which took a little bit of time, and I ended up getting to work about 30 minutes late. I thought it was going to actually be much worse because I thought something else completely wrong with the car, because while I was also looking at the battery and trying to figure out what was wrong with the car, I also noticed that there was a coolant leak on the car. And when I thought that, I was like, oh no, something really bad has happened to the car. Luckily it was just the battery, and I investigated the coolant leak problem, and I'm getting that solved as well. So I get to work, it's about 30 minutes later, and somehow that 30 minutes of being late to work just threw my entire day off. So basically I was like behind on everything throughout the entire day, to the point where it's like I'm starting to become stressed because I'm just like, I can't get anything done correctly. I can't get it done in a timely fashion because I'm like having work basically pile up and pile up and pile up. And I was just like, oh god, today is just against me entirely. It's just like, so far Sunday was shit, Monday has now become shit, and throughout the entire day of Monday it was basically that at work, where I just felt like nothing was getting done in a timely fashion, and I was basically not performing up to my ability in terms of work. So another thing that I didn't mention about my work this week is that we actually did overtime for the majority of the week. So every single day I would get off of work basically a little bit later than I normally do. So I got home from work basically driving on the highway, and the drive was actually relatively normal because, like I said, overtime putting us later, all that traffic had gone by, and I was like, oh, okay, at least I get one solid moment of my day that's actually good. Well, turns out I had to go to the ATM when I got home, and when I go to the ATM I put my card in the machine, and if you can guess what happened next, the ATM took my card. I don't know how or why it took my card, but I put my card into the ATM machine, the light just kept blinking, and was basically like, insert card. And I'm like, well, my card is inserted. And I'm just like, I'm gonna have to sit here for God knows how long dealing with my card basically being taken by the ATM machine. And I had to wait there for about 30 minutes before trying to basically figure out, because this is at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm trying to figure out, well, the bank's closed, what do I do now to get my card back? And I was like, well, first thing, I'm just gonna film a video of it just so I can be like, yeah, your machine took my card and I got nothing. And then after that, I was just sitting on my phone looking up stuff of what I could possibly do, and I was thinking about calling like customer support and stuff, and then all of a sudden it just spits my card back out. But I had to wait in the ATM line for 30 minutes. Luckily no other cars were coming, because then I went out to get out of my car and been like, yeah, the ATM broken, they took my card, go somewhere else. But luckily that didn't happen, so I avoided that awkwardness. But I finally got my card back, and I was finally able to go home, and that was the end of my Monday. Tuesday comes along, and I'm thinking, all right, we had a bad day Monday, it's a new day though, we're gonna look at it differently and try to come at it with a different approach to have a better day. Luckily that morning my car actually started, but I then got to work again, and I would think, in my opinion, statistically at my job, I had my worst ever performing day. And that's because I was just having a lot of things on my mind, and I couldn't focus, and I couldn't get my work done, and I wasn't feeling it, if you know what I mean, like that day. And what this video actually was originally going to be about was going to be about motorcycle riding and riding motorcycles as a form of therapy. Because, I mean, honestly, I'm recapping this story right now, but just being on a motorcycle, I'm so happy. And that's what I wanted to talk about. It's like, when you get on a motorcycle, you really forget that. But that'll be another video down the line. This one I'm just going to talk about what happened to me this week and the ups and downs. So like I said, Tuesday was the most statistically bad day I've ever had at work, and I was just like, oh, this is awful. Wednesday comes along, and Wednesday actually went fine, and this is where I thought my week was gonna go from an L to basically back to neutral. I was like, all right, Wednesday goes fine, workday goes normal, cars actually start in fine. Because I also didn't mention this for Monday, I had to pay basically $200 to get a new battery, and I couldn't even get it installed because I would have been even more late for work. Hello there. Because I also forgot to mention this part, but at my job, I'm not a full-time employee, I'm actually a contractor at my job, meaning that I'm basically held to really a higher standard in terms of like my performance, basically, because like it's like earn your keep basically, and being late is not something that you want to have. Now, even though I had an excuse, it's still like, you're late, you should not have car problems, yada yada yada. Not really, that's not what they said to me or anything, but it's kind of like how I feel in my head. It's like, I need to be at the top of my game all the time, and Tuesday and Monday clearly wasn't there. Wednesday I was in mid of the pack, I'd say, and I was like, all right, day's becoming neutral. And then Thursday comes along, and Thursday is where my day, or week rather, should I say, turned from an L to the neutral on Wednesday, so then finally felt like it was becoming a dub, a solid win on Thursday. I get into work on Thursday, and I'm immediately asked the question, hey, did you talk to the HR people? And in my head I'm like, oh fuck, my 3 days of just shit performance has somehow thrown me like under the bus, so I'm gonna get fired for this. And I'm like, no, I haven't talked to the HR people. And they're like, well, they are probably going to be contacting you. And I was like, in my head I'm just freaking out. I'm thinking all these things like, I'm about to be fired, there goes my job, now what am I gonna do? It's like, I'm not in YouTube for money, and I don't make any money, so it's like I'm not getting revenue there. But in my head I was also like, I can focus on YouTube now. But regardless, talking a lot, haven't drank water today. Corona's gonna get me, and that's not really a joke I want to make. Ugh, that was a hard stop. So I sit down at my desk, and I'm just waiting basically to hear from HR, basically thinking all the entire time, I'm gonna be fired, I'm gonna be fired, this is it, I gotta start thinking about doing a job again. I used to work at Walmart, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back to work at Walmart until I find another job. God, this is about to suck. And I get a finally I get a Slack message from HR basically being like, hey, can you come to my office? And I'm like, yeah, I can. And I go to the HR lady's office, and basically in my head I'm like, oh well, let's get this over with. But anyway, I sit down and she's basically like, so we have a full-time position opening up at the job. And my eyes, basically, if you could look at me, you could tell I was like full shocked, like, oh, this just went from bad to good, and I'm 100% okay with it. She's like, yeah, we have a full-time position opening up, and do you want to apply for it? And I'm like, of course I want to apply for it. I would love to do that. And she's like, okay, well, what's your email? We'll send you an email, and you can apply for the full-time position. And from the general consensus of me talking to other people that I work with at that point that's gone through that process, it basically means that it's kind of like a give me, but at the same time it might not be. I have no idea, but I'm hoping in my head it's a give me, and it will work out for the better. If it doesn't, it'll suck, but it won't be in this week, because I didn't find out about it this week. So we're good there. Don't have to worry about this week getting any worse. Well, okay, then again, there is tomorrow, which is Sunday, because today is Saturday. But for right now, it ain't getting any worse. So I get home from work, and I'm ready to tell anyone I can, basically be like, yo, I finally got an opportunity to get a full-time position at the company. And I come home to find out my sink is broken and leaking. And I'm like, oh, great. I don't even get a moment at home to be happy anymore. Like, what is happening to me this week? It's like, my car's already shit the bed. I've had a personal thing happen on Sunday. My job has basically been against me. And I finally get something good to happen, and wow, sink just breaks. And I'm like, all right, let's get to that. Basically had to turn the water off to the sink, which the way my sink is set up is fucking stupid. I'm not even gonna go into that in this video either, but I finally got it off after like 30 minutes, which should not take that long. Tells you how stupid it is. And then I go to bed, and I'm just like, whatever, it's over. In a typical R2R Moto fashion, I don't know where I am right now, but that also brings me to then Friday. And I get into work on Friday, and I was hoping I'd hear something about the job on Friday, but I didn't. Just normal Friday, goes through work fine. And then that's when, if you follow anything about the news and you know about the CV and what's going on with that, you know about the national emergency and all that jazz. And that's when it hit my job, basically, to the fact that I'm all the way over here? I didn't know I could get all the way over here. Oh, that's awesome. So Friday goes like a sort of normal day, and we're all basically wondering what's gonna happen about the CV, because we're supposed to get an announcement. It's like an office job, so we work in close proximity. I did not see that motorcycle in time, but we work in close proximity with each other, sort of, kind of. So people are naturally concerned about the CV and if we'll be off. And when I found out from it at the end of the day is that majority of my company will be able to work from home, but my department of the company won't be able to work from home. So we find out that our department basically won't be able to work from home, and in my head I'm like, I'm not that mad about it, because honestly, I don't know, it's just like, while I am worried that the CV is a possible thing that I could catch, it's just like, you don't think about it really, and you don't think about it until it happens, and I guess that's a bad thing, but in my head I'm like, there's no need to worry about it. I honestly already wash my hands. I'm basically a little bit of a germaphobe, so already in my head I'm like, I already take the necessary precautions to basically be safe from getting it. So continuing to do what I do, going into work, as long as no one else has it, I'll be fine. So that's kind of how my Friday night of work ended, where it was just very up in the air of kind of like what we're gonna do about work. In itself wasn't a bad day, but it did kind of end a downer note on what was bad to then good to then finally ending on a meh kind of note for work. So overall I was just kind of out of it going home, thinking like, what's about to happen? I finally get this like basically almost promotion, and now my job could be shutting down for who knows how long. And then that finally leads me to today, which is Saturday of said week. And really what my only plan for today was I was actually going to go to a local basically Triumph and Indian dealer near kind of where I live, a little bit further away. And I was going to go there and I was going to test ride a motorcycle. I was actually going to test ride the Indian FTR 1200 because for my next bike I've been thinking about certain bikes and being able to sit on that one and try it out because I love the way that bike looks. I was going to just basically go there and get a feel of the bike and see how I felt about it. The reason why I ended up not going to the dealership was actually because I wasn't going to take my bike because I didn't want to ride for as long as I have to on the highway. It is a little bit on the highway from my house, and I didn't want to take the bike, so I ended up wanting to take my car. If you remember what I said about Monday, my car's battery shit the bed and I had to buy a new battery. Well, I hadn't put the battery in yet because the car was running fine up until that point. And I was like, okay, I'll replace it when I get back from the dealership after doing this ride. I get in the car, try to start it, car will not start. And I'm like, well, I know this is about to go. So I was gonna jump start the car, but I just decided, fuck it, I'm gonna go to AutoZone. I'm just gonna get the necessary things I need to change my battery, because changing a battery is a very simple, very straightforward process. However, because of one thing with my fucking car that I did not have, I had to go to AutoZone and I had to go buy a deep, basically 10mm socket. I have 10mm sockets at home, but none of them were long enough to basically reach the studs on the or the nut I should say, on the bar that basically holds my battery in place. So I had to go get a deep socket from AutoZone. I come home, I change my battery, and then I'm like, at that point it was basically, I shifted into neutral. Get out of that. But I basically decided, all right, well, it's getting kind of late, because at this point I was gonna go around 1. By the time I changed my battery, it was like 1:30. Then I got lunch, and then I decided to just relax for a bit because I was just like, ugh, this week it's hitting me. So I decided I wasn't gonna go to the dealership today. I honestly should have still, but I just decided not to. And then I wasn't gonna make this video. This video is actually not the video, like I said earlier, that I was going to make. I was gonna make a video about basically how riding motorcycles can make you happier, because it does. And I am very happy, even though I don't seem like it, because I am on this motorcycle. So eventually I will make that video, probably as my next video, or the next one after that, if I don't make my next video about mods. But yeah, so that's basically been my week. Need to turn my turn signal off. Not over yet. We still got one more day, which is tomorrow. I'm hoping it goes fine, and you'll actually probably be seeing this video on Sunday for me. I don't know what I'll be doing tomorrow, but yeah, whenever you guys are watching this video, I hope you guys are having a good day. If you are having a bad time, kind of like I am with this week, just know it will get better. You just got to believe it. It might not seem like it at first, but eventually it will get better. It has to, if you just believe it will. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't know why I said that it will if you believe. Who knows if that's a real thing, but you know. I don't know. But it will get better, hopefully. I assume. Maybe. Yes. Maybe. I don't know. Goodbye. But no, for real. Yeah. I've been rambling. This video is probably like 30 minutes long. Who knows? I'm going to edit it, so it might be a little bit shorter, but I've been talking for quite some time, and I've been riding for like 20 minutes or 30. I have no idea. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more content in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.